And now, from the capital city, it's Nightique with Edward St. Pay.
Thank you, Jim Pollard, and welcome to Nightique. Well, a national study suggests that viewing porn may actually shrink the brain. A majority of men usually have the same reaction to this finding. Huh? The LA Times says fired USC coach Steve Sarkisian had 4 tequila shots, 4 whiskeys, and 5 beers before noon at a coaches convention recently. He's off to his second rehab. Of course, many people who first attend rehab at the Charlie Sheen Center find they have to do graduate work at other institutions first. Washington, D.C. implemented a new program designed to save energy and reduce traffic by paying D.C. residents $12,000 to move closer to their workplace. It's already a huge hit in the district. Over the weekend, 3,000 prostitutes moved right across the street from Congress. Well, we've got a great show coming up. Tonight, we've got Karen Parker and Duann Kier. Stay tuned for Nightique.
We'll be right back with more of Nightique after these messages.
Your on-air career journey begins at broadcastdemo.tv. Both recent graduates as well as seasoned news and weather veterans need an updated and fresh demo tape to apply for those on-air positions across the country. At broadcastdemo.tv, a one-day visit to our WeatherVision studio, and you'll have an HD and digitally edited demo tape that you'll be proud of. BroadcastDemo.tv. Invest in yourself.
This is our Gray's box. It's a great way to snack. Fresh, tasty, and created using only the best ingredients. Choose from our range of over 90 delicious snacks. We'd like to invite you to try a hand-picked box for free. Go to grays.com and we'll send a free box directly to your office or home. It may even help you keep your hand out of the cookie jar.
Go to grays.com and enter the code GRAYS34 for a free box.
Grays.com. Snacking. Reinvented.
Bengal presents From One Legend to Another.
When I moved down south, I was not prepared for these insects and pests. I'm so glad my neighbor recommended Bengal. Now I could spend time doing more of what I love.
People trust Bengal Products' legendary performance for insect problems in and around the house. Bengal products really work.
Using Bengal gives me more time with the love of my life, Mr. Snuggle Muffins.
When you are looking to further your education, there's only one university that towers above the rest, Jackson State University. Jackson State University is one of the leading universities in research, technology, and innovation, graduating more than 1,300 students annually and a consistent growth in revenue. Jackson State University is ranked #1 amongst the HBCUs in research and development. Make the right choice, the one choice, one Jackson State University, changing lives one student at a time.
And now back to more Nightique.
Well, joining us now is Duann Kier. And Duann, you are a spiritual intuitive.
That's correct.
And I've never really heard it put that way, but a spiritual intuitive. Tell us, what is a spiritual intuitive?
I wish I knew. It's another term for psychic. Most people know what a psychic is, but I call myself a spiritual intuitive because it's a very holy, sacred, spiritual gift as far as I'm concerned.
And when you started out as a young person, you were studying in the church. Tell us about that.
Yes. My mom was a Christian. My dad was more of a agnostic, atheist, probably more agnostic. And for the experiences I was having, really the only frame of reference I had was the church, following more on my mom's side, more so than on my dad's side. But as I followed that path, I found out that the gift came through the women on my mom's side of the family and the men on my dad's side of the family, and I kind of got a double whammy of it.
So What's the earliest experience you had as far as a spiritual, intuitive situation?
Probably one of the early experiences that I got feedback on, because it was something very natural and normal with me. I didn't realize it was something separate or unique or different. Was my mom had a friend over who had been in the kitchen with her having coffee and crying. And so I just crawled up in her lap. I can't remember how old I was, but I crawled up in her lap and I said, he really and truly hasn't been seeing any other women. And she's looking down at me like, what are you talking about? My mom's kind of like, please don't do that again. And then she had a talking to me, you know, afterwards. But then found out later that the woman thought that her husband had been, you know, unfaithful. She was absolutely devastated by it, and then found out later that he had not been. So what I was trying to do as I was picking up, it was just trying to make her feel better, is he's not really, it's okay.
And surely other things occurred along the way as a young person growing up where you got in touch with that side of your personality.
I actually shut it off completely when it was overwhelming me in high school. Just seeing too many things, hearing too many things, experiencing too many things, and I became very restricted and constrained. Sometimes even the point that it was hard for me to find a place to really laugh out loud, you know, to just release any kind of emotion. So it was very restrictive and constraining until I got a handle on it. And then with more practice, I was able to not just pick up on everyone and everything all the time. I could be more selective about when the process actually happened for me.
What is this? I mean, how do you explain it? For example, seeing something that other people can't see, for example. Give us an example of what that might be.
Actually, probably hearing is more, I see things, experience things, but hearing things. I sometimes teach a workshop called Unwrapping Your Psychic Gift, or Unwrapping Your Spiritual Gift of Intuition. And I'm sharing certain things that have happened. And one of the things that I will share is occasionally I hear someone call my name out loud, and I answer, but there's no one there. But I'm realizing that almost everyone has some kind of experience like that, and I find at least a third of my classes someone has heard their name called out loud, but that there was no one there. So I think it's a very natural thing. I don't see anything necessarily supernatural about it, or paranormal. It may be perfectly normal because we're all connected. So if we're all connected, we're just finding those little crossover points where we're tuning in, kind of like a radio station or a television station.
So is there a demarcation line between the normal world we live in and another world where there is in the Netherland arena, right, between these two worlds, there are people or there are spirits, and this is maybe what you're seeing? Or hearing?
Yes, one of the ways I refer to it in another class I do, The Paranormal is Perfectly Normal, is we have an electromagnetic spectrum, as you well know, and there's only so much that our eyes can see in that. It's very small. But outside of what we can see, there are instruments that can measure that there's other things going on. TV waves, radio waves, and what have you, but we're not seeing those, but we have instruments to measure them, so we know they're there. So couldn't it be something that's outside of what we can see, and also what we can measure, because we haven't got the instruments for it yet, but it's there, but we refer to it as paranormal or metaphysical. I sometimes joke that today's physics was yesterday's metaphysics. You know, if I took a cigarette lighter back to the 1800s and went around flicking the cigarette lighter, that's just a piece of technology. But from that population, it would have been something metaphysical, not just something that was physical. So I look at today, what we may consider as metaphysical today may be just part of normal physics later on.
The way you explained it, the television radio spectrum, or Of course, we can't see that, but it exists, like you said. But we can measure it, but we can't see it.
Right.
And so it's not implausible that there are things that we can't measure or see, but they are out there, and some people have the ability to intuitively connect in with that, and that is what you are referring to as a spiritual intuitive person.
But I think we all can do that. It's like if your audience left today or tomorrow and started looking for red trucks, they're going to see more of them. So when you focus on something, you see more of it or you experience more of it. We've just kind of been conditioned out of paying attention to those things that we do experience.
This type of spirituality, has it run through historically all religions? I mean, it's part of all religions, whether it be Christianity or Zoroastrianism
all of them.
or anything else, right? Is that right?
And they're usually those that follow that particular path in that particular religion, whatever it is, more often than not are ostracized sooner or later. The Christians have the Gnostics, Muslims have the Sufis, Judaism has the Kabbalah. But what happens is that those who find and follow the mystical path, and they really and truly are connecting with God or the original source of creation, or however you refer to that in your life, once you start doing that, then you may not subscribe to the dogma or the doctrine of the religion, even though the dogma and doctrine of the religion has told you that you can have a direct relationship. You come into question, though, when you actually begin having that direct relationship. You become suspect and kind of ostracized from the rest of the group.
I see, yeah. Now, you teach at Millsaps.
Sometimes.
And other venues. Can you give us information on contact information if someone wants to find out more about what you're doing?
You can always contact me through my website, duannkier.com. The seminars that I have coming up at Millsaps, you can always go to Millsaps College and then look at their continuing education offerings. I'm usually listed under personal development offerings.
And so you teach, but you also work with private individuals too, right?
Exactly.
So, a very interesting line of work you're in.
It's not boring.
I was going to say, it would never get boring.
But then neither is yours. So.
Right. They would never get boring, right?
Right.
Right. Well, good.
There's always something new.
It's been a pleasure having you on, and
Thank
we would
you.
like you to come back.
I would love to.
And we'll have you back on soon, and you can give us more insight into this very unique occupation that you're involved
Well, I can try.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon. Okay?
All righty.
Okay. That's Duann, Kier, and you're watching Nightique. We'll be back after this.
We'll be right back with more of Nightique after these messages.
This is our Gray's Box. It's a great way to snack. Fresh, tasty, and created using only the best ingredients. Choose from our range of over 90 delicious snacks. We'd like to invite you to try a hand-picked box for free. Go to grays.com and we'll send a free box directly to your office or home. It may even help you keep your hand out of the cookie jar.
Go to grays.com and enter the code GRAYS34 for a free box.
Grays.com. Snacking reinvented.
This is important news for women using birth control medications and devices. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with a pseudotumor after using one of these birth control drugs or devices, you may be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Contact the law firm of Davis & Crump right now if you or a loved one have used one of these birth control medications or devices and were diagnosed with a pseudotumor to see if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Ingalls Shipbuilding has pioneered the development and production of technologically advanced, highly capable warships for the U.S. Navy, Coast Guard, and Marine Corps for more than 75 years. Ingalls is Mississippi's largest manufacturing employer, and today Ingalls has an immediate need for more than 200 electricians at our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Apply today at www.buildyourcareer.com or call 888-935-1507.
And now back to more Nightique.
Welcome to our program, Nightique, with Karen Parker. Karen, thank you
Hi, Edward.
for coming.
So good to see you.
Good to see you. So, okay, now, Karen, you were instrumental in starting a store, which has become sort of a legendary store. It's called New Vibrations, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Tell us about your journey. What is New Vibrations all about?
Well, New Vibrations was a store that I started in 2004. It was a body, mind, spirit store. We celebrated every culture, every religion. We felt that we wanted it to be a sanctuary for people to come and ask questions about metaphysics or about anything that interested them that was over and above what they might find at their own churches. So we just wanted to do something a little different.
So you were sort of like a conduit for all religions and all ideas revolving around spirituality, sort of, right?
Yes, that's always been a passion of mine. I've always been interested in metaphysics, other cultures, their belief systems. Margaret Mead was my hero when I was growing up. And I have done a lot of different jobs in my life, but when I found myself, my husband had passed away, and I found myself wanting to do something that really spoke to my passions and what I felt was fulfilling for me. So I decided to come back home to Jackson and start a store, and I called it New Vibrations, which I feel vibration is the basis of every living thing on earth, and I wanted to start something new. So I called it New Vibrations. We opened in February of 2004, and it became a hit pretty quickly.
There's a lot of interest in that, right?
Yes, lots of interest. And we had such wonderful things that we offered, lots of classes, some expos, some workshops, lots of speakers. We had meeting rooms. There almost was not a day or an evening that we didn't meet and gather somehow. And one of the main classes or groups that we had was called Conversations. And from that group, after the store closed, I continued on with that, and it continues on today.
And people meet and they contact each other and network through your website, right?
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, I knew the things that we were selling were important, but I felt my mission in the store was to give people a place to gather, a place to network, a place to contact each other, and to talk about the things that not a lot of other people were talking about.
So, for example, the website is New Vibrations?
Well, it's newvibrationsnetwork.com, but the website is not quite up yet. They can reach me through Facebook, New Vibrations Network. And I came up with the network as an offshoot of the store New Vibrations after the store closed. I opened another store for another couple, and it was the Fair Trade store in front of Rainbow. And as people began to see me there, they wanted to know where everybody else was. After the store closed, we felt like we sort of scattered to the wind, and we didn't have connections with each other anymore. So as I opened the store and they began to find me, I decided to do a reunion. So we had a big reunion at Joy Flow Yoga, and from there we decided to do it monthly. So we meet once a month on the second Thursdays at the Unitarian Universalist Church, and we talk about anything and everything. I have lots of speakers come in, and so we do that on second Thursdays.
And we might mention that the store was in Fondren, which
right.
Joy Flow Yoga is in Fondren area. Or
well, it's out on off Lake Harbor now, on Old Canton Road in Lake Harbor.
But
so
many things have been are in Fondren. All the creative things are in Fondren.
Found themselves coming through Fondren. As a matter of fact, when I opened my own store, I couldn't see it anywhere else but Fondren. I had to do it in Fondren.
Now I notice you're wearing a crystal. Is that correct?
Right, right.
So
it's a quartz crystal.
You would sell things like that at the store.
I would. I sold this through the store. Sure did.
So, okay, for example, for those of us, we want to understand what does the crystal do?
Well, this is quartz crystal. There is a belief that quartz crystal actually holds memory, and it holds energy. Actually, you have quartz crystal in your watch, and they use quartz crystal in your cell phones, and they use quartz crystal in computers, because when you put a little pressure on quartz crystal, it emits an energy, sort of like a battery.
When you put pressure on it, meaning what? If you touch it?
When there's a slight pressure on it, I mean, your watch is not going to put tremendous loads of pressure on a crystal, but they believe that it does hold memory and that it does hold energy. So we feel, metaphysical people feel, that when you utilize crystal, or any rock and stone for that matter, but quartz crystal especially, it emits an energy of whatever you're producing. So if you're calm and collect and open to possibilities, that it enhances that energy in you.
So for from a practical standpoint, if you have a crystal, what does one do with the crystal in order to reap any spiritual benefit from it?
Well, simply wearing it is one way to activate its energy. You might also sit with it in your hand while you do a meditation. You can, a lot of people put it under the sun or under the moon to activate sun or moon energy. And there are lots of different stones that do lots of different things.
So crystal is one, but even any type of stone would carry maybe a vibration, let's say.
Right. And there are 7 energy centers in your body, and each one has a color. And any stone that is that particular color should be very soothing to that particular area of your body. For example, the heart energy is green. So a green stone, like jade or aventurine, would enhance your heart energy.
I see. Interesting. Here's an example of something that happened to me. My mom was traveling to Rome a number of years ago, and I saw her before she left, and I said, Ma, if she was going to go to the Colosseum, I said, Ma, if you go to the Colosseum, if you see any type of, when you're there, if you see any relic, if you see a piece of stone, because I'm sort of a fan of Roman history.
Right.
I said, you know, if you see something, a piece of rock, bring it home if you can to me. So anyway, when she got back, she said, well, I got something for you. And so she told me the story. She was in the Colosseum, and she was, I don't know if she was on a tour or whatever, and she was there, and she remembered what I had said. And so as soon as she remembered, she looked down, and there was a rock that was sitting there.
I love it.
So she brought it home to me. And it's a little stone, it looks like a little piece of granite, ancient. And so anyway, so she brought it home, and so she gave it to me. And I've looked at it, and I've studied it, even brought it to a jeweler to look at it, and he looked at it, and there was even inscriptions written on it.
Oh my goodness.
He could decipher. He didn't know what it said, but he could see there was writing on it, very small.
Oh, that's
and so anyway,
tremendous.
so I have that now. To me, that just simply because of where it was and what it symbolizes, it goes back into to that time. That stone, it was quarried and it was used in some way at the Colosseum. The energy of that, to me, is strong. You know,
the meaning is very special to you.
It's very special.
But
plus, my mom gave it to me.
granite has quartz in it.
Oh yeah.
So quartz absorbed all of that energy through all of those centuries, and now you are utilizing that stone to receive those energies.
Yeah, and you know, and you can just tell. It's just, you know, you can feel it.
It feels special, very special to you. And to someone who just saw it as a rock, it's just a rock.
Right. It's a tangible
to some,
connection.
this is just a rock.
Right.
To me, it's very special.
Right. Okay, let's give out the Facebook address for anyone out there across the state that might be interested in reaching you guys at the Facebook site.
Right. Facebook is New Vibrations Network. And you can find me there. You can also find me all over it. And it's it's an open group, so it's for anybody to post any events that they have coming up that they feel that our group would be interested in.
And your group meets Thursday, what is it?
Second Thursday. On, at the Unitarian Universalist Church on North State Street.
It's in Fondren.
It's actually just north of Fondren.
But nearby, yeah.
Yes, very near, very near.
Area.
I think Fondren ends at Northside Drive, so it's 1 mile north of Northside Drive.
So that's a suburb of the city of Jackson, basically, if for anyone out across the state that's interested.
Right.
And so we would like to thank you for coming, and we'd like to invite you back soon, okay?
I would like to invite you to our next group, which is going to be Brandon Hurd is coming to speak about ancient Mississippi, his book that he wrote.
Wow, that sounds
Please
interesting.
come. We'd love to have you.
Thank you, Karen, very much for being
Thank
with
you,
us.
Edward.
And we'll have you back soon.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been our pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back with more of Nightique after these messages.
Your on-air career journey begins at broadcastdemo.tv. Both recent graduates as well as seasoned news and weather veterans need an updated and fresh demo tape to apply for those on-air positions across the country. At broadcastdemo.tv, a one-day visit to our WeatherVision studio, and you'll have an HD and digitally edited demo tape that you'll be proud of. Broadcastdemo.tv. Invest in yourself.
When you are looking to further your education, there's only one university that towers above the rest, Jackson State University. Jackson State University is one of the leading universities in research, technology, and innovation, graduating more than 1,300 students annually and a consistent growth in revenue. Jackson State University is ranked #1 amongst the HBCUs in research and development. Make the right choice, the one choice, one Jackson State University, changing lives one student at a time.
And now back to more Nightique.
Well, thank you for joining us for this edition of Nightique. We're on Monday through Friday night across the state, and we would welcome comments from you. And if you've got any suggestions for guests to appear on our show, you can email us via the website, and that's at nightique.com. Also, most of our shows are now being archived at YouTube, so you can see some of the shows that you've missed over the last few months. I'm Edward St. Pé, and thank you for joining us on this edition of Nightique.
Join us every weeknight statewide for Nightique with Edward St. Pé. If you have suggestions for guests or want to be on the show yourself, drop us a line at www.nightique.com. I'm your announcer, Jim Pollard. Good night from all of us at Nightique.